This is the screen all three we are on, right? So here, if you go to tools option, right, you will be able to see something called as UiPath extensions. Okay, once you click on that UiPath extension, you will be having this. So what is this extension first? So Chrome is one application and UiPath is one application, right? So if your automation is based on Chrome application, then UiPath should have some dependency with Chrome application, right? Basically, it should send some communication to Chrome, right? So there should be some dependency. That's why we are having this particular Chrome extension, UiPath Chrome extension, okay? And for me, now it is showing us uninstall because for me it is already there. Okay, but for you guys it will be like install. Okay, so once you click on install, plugin also will get installed. Okay, so this is how you can install the plugins.
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll get into a project. Okay, so here you have something called as process. Okay, so I already told you, like in the UiPath orchestrator itself, like we will be calling it as process, right? So by using this particular tab only, we are going to create our automation, and you can see the description also to design a new automation process. Okay, and I told you like we have different types of framework also, right? And you can see for attended automation, like we will be having attended automation framework, and then for unattended automation, and if it deals with like tons of data and you want to have some logging mechanisms already in place, right? Then this robotic enterprise framework, the famous framework, that is RE framework. Okay, so this is there for us. And for now we'll go with the process tab. And here once you click on the process tab, you will be asked to give the project name. Okay, so basically you have to provide the name for your bot. So it should be always meaningful. Don't give like blank process 1 2 3, like the other user should be able to understand like what this process is going to do by just by seeing the process name. Okay, so for now I'll give it as hello world bot. Okay, and then here you will be seeing something called as location. These two fields are mandatory field. Okay, so here it is telling location. Okay, and it is the default location that UiPath, the UiPath will whatever process that we are creating, it will be getting stored in this particular location. But if you wish to change this location, yes, you can change just by clicking this particular thing, and wherever you want to have, right, you can choose that particular location. Currently it is in UiPath location, but if you wish to store it under documents, you can click on select folder, so that whatever process, this process that we are creating, right, that will be getting stored in this particular location. Okay, so for now I'll go with the UiPath folder itself.
In projects, you will have shared folder for this in
Sorry.
real time. In real time projects, what location you select here? It cannot be in local,
First of
right?
No, no, you can create in local, okay, and then you can place your file inside the shared folder.
Okay, okay. So no, in real time, I'm asking what usually you select in this location. It will be
We
the
will be
default.
select like we will be mapping our network drive, and then we'll be selecting our network drive.
Okay, okay. So in shared location. Okay.
Yeah, shared drive. And then you can give the description of the process if you wish, and if you not, then yeah, it is not a mandatory one. Okay, and compatibility, we will be having Windows cross platform, we have discussed, right? So if you know, right, like your development machine is Windows and the target machine is some other OS, then while developing itself, like you should choose cross platform. Okay, but mostly like everyone will be going to deal with VM only, that is Windows based. So we'll choose go with the Windows. Okay, and then language. So UiPath will work based on two things. One is VB.NET and the other one is C Sharp.NET. Okay, automation anywhere works based on like .NET and then Java. Not sure about Blue Prism, but here in UiPath, like it will work based on VB.NET and then C Sharp.NET. So we'll go with the default one that UiPath has already chosen for us. Okay. So once you hit on create, now it will take us to the workflow or the workspace. Basically, the workspace. It will take us to the workspace. So it will download some dependencies before taking us to the workspace. Now we'll see what are all the tabs that is available in this work to this panel. Like on the top level, like you will be having three tabs. One is home tab. So once you click on this home tab, that will take us to this place like where we'll be creating our project. Okay. And the other tab is design tab. So using this design tab only, in this design tab only, like we will be going to write our logic or code. Okay. And then we have one more tab, that is debug tab. So if you want to see what are all the results that you are going to get, like in stepwise manner, right, step by step, then you can get into debug tab. Under debug tab you will be having step into, step over, and then step out, these things. So when we are creating the code, that time we will see these things in more detail. And for now, just understand on high level, like we will be having three tabs. Under design tab, we will be having one tab called new. Okay. So basically, like we will be calling this as a workspace, right? This particular center window, we will be calling it as workspace. Under this workspace, like we will be having different types of workflow. Okay. So there are majorly three types of workflow which is there. One is sequence, flowchart, and the state machine. Okay. So on majorly, like we will be going to use only these three types of workflow. Okay. And we should understand like when to use which. And this is also one more certification question: sequence, flowchart, and then state machine. Okay, so sequence, when we will be using itself, by the name itself, we can understand like step by step it is going to get executed. Basically, the linear thing, and where it, so in simple thing, like we will be going to use the sequence type of workflow for a smaller projects. Okay, and where multiple if conditions are not there. So we'll be using sequence if it is a small project and multiple if conditions are not involved. If multiple if conditions are involved, then you can directly go to the flowchart. Okay. So the flowchart, you, this is another type of workflow, like we can deal with multiple things of if conditions. Okay, why? Because like in sequence, if you use here also you can use multiple if condition, but the flow, right, here this workflow, this code like will look messy. Okay, so that's why we are going with flowchart. Okay, and the state machine, it is nothing but like once the particular event occurs, then the next set of actions will happen based on the conditions. Okay, and it is useful for very complex tasks. Okay, and if your process deals with one particular action, based on that particular action, if you wish the next things to should happen, then you can go with the state machine. Okay, and I told you one framework, right, that is RE framework. This RE framework is built with the combination of state machine, flowchart, and a sequence. Okay, so mostly for all of our projects, like we will be using RE framework concept. Okay, so first we'll go with the sequence and then we'll jump into the flowchart, and then finally when we are going to see RE framework, that time we'll discuss about state machine. Okay, so these are all the three types of workflow which is available or which we use majorly. And I mentioned told you, right, like recently UiPath has introduced coded automation also. So if you're strong in coding, like without dragging and dropping those functionalities, like you can go with the coded workflow so that you can use C sharp, like other programming language, like we do the coding, right? Similarly here also you can do the coding. Okay, and it is in preview mode only, it is not a full fledged tool. Okay, so and just see the icons of every symbol, every workflow. See, this is the icon, which is basically arrow followed by another arrow. Okay, and you can see, right, arrow followed by another arrow, which indicates it is a sequence workflow. Okay, and the next one is flowchart. So basically multiple conditions are going, right, from one step. Based on multiple conditions, it will go to the three different actions. So that is flowchart, and state machine is another icon which we have. Just remember this icon. Okay, so here we have sequence. Suppose if you don't have this also, right, if you have only this particular thing, drop activity here, what you can do is, here on the left hand side, maybe on the left hand side, right, you will be having one panel called activities panel. Okay, so this is the panel which is going to help us for getting our comments or actions. Okay, here in UiPath, we will be calling it as activities. Based on this activities only, we will be going to build our code. Okay, so if I type sequence, right, we will be getting that workflow. Okay, so you can see, you can ignore these top two. Okay, recent favorites, and whatever you are having, right, everything will be there in the installed. Okay, installed, I told you this is a workflow, right? Three types of workflow is there, so it will be available under workflow. Okay, under workflow you will be having something called as control. Under control you will be having sequence. Two ways like you can have this particular sequence in the workspace panel. One is by doing the double click, or else by dragging and dropping that particular piece of action. Okay, two ways. One is drag and drop, or by doing the double click. Okay, so this is how you can have your activity in the workspace panel. So before that, we'll first go into the project panel. Okay, so the project panel is also an important panel. So here you will be able to see all the information. So this is the process name that we have given, right, while creating the process. This is the name that we have given, right, hello world. So that is the top level. Okay, and then you will be having, like, once we hit on create, what it did, it has restored some dependencies, right? Basically it has created some dependencies for us, right? So these are all the default dependencies that you will be having. Okay, UI automation activities, testing, system, mail, excel related. So if you want to work with excel related activities, then this dependency should be there in your machine. Okay, then only you will be able to work with the excel automation. And if you want to work with mail, then this dependency will help us. And if you want to work with UI
These are like
automation, that is,
libraries,
yeah,
right?
yeah, correct. So these dependencies will be available over here. And then, like, if you are creating a text file, then what will be the extension? Dot txt, right? And if you are creating some other excel file, right, then the extension will be xlsx or xls or xlsm. The macro file, the extension is xlsm, right? Similarly, here whatever project that you are creating, right, the extension will be dot xaml. Okay, dot xaml. So whenever you are creating a project, one particular XAML file will be getting created automatically. That is nothing but main.xaml. This particular main.xaml will be getting created automatically whenever you create a process. Okay, and you will be, additionally you will be having project.json. What this project.json will have? So basically, what is this JSON? JSON is a key and value pair, right? Basically it is a dictionary thing. So if you open this, like, whatever information that you are able to see over here, right, what is our process name? Hello world, right? You can see name hello world. Okay, and then project id, description, and then main.xaml that will get created automatically. And these are all the dependencies which got created, right, that just we have seen over here, correct? So those informations you will be able to see. Okay, you are not going to do anything over here, just it's good to understand like what this project.json will have. Okay, so now we can close this. And if I go to project tab again, right, Suppose if you want to go into this particular folder in the file explorer, like here we are going something like this, right? We will be traversing to the respective location, and we will be, if you want to get this into .html, you will be traversing to this particular location, and then you will be getting, right? Similarly, if you wish to go into this particular location, here you have one icon, that is file explorer. Okay, once you hit this, it will directly take you to this particular location. Okay, so this is the process name that we have created. Under this, these things whatever we have seen under project panel, everything is listed out over here. Also main.xaml we have seen, project.json we have seen, right? So everything will be shown over here also. Okay,